Rain glazed the floor-to-ceiling windows of Skywood Foods' top floor, softening the skyline of Chicago into silver smudges. Olivia Crane, CEO, leaned against the cool glass and traced a fingertip over the condensation. For the last 3 years she'd told herself she was working so hard for her twins Amelia and Jacka, but the truth was her days had become numbers, budgets, deadlines, and one-line emails. The warmth she once felt when she tucked them in at night had been traded for a string of late-night board calls and catered dinners eaten alone. It was past 8 on a Tuesday when she finally left her corner office, heels clicking down the silent hall. On the mezzanine she heard laughter echo up the stairwell, a soft, rhythmic, punctuated by the hollow thud of plastic against metal. Her security instincts flared. No one should be in the lobby at this hour. She slipped quietly down the steps and froze halfway. Below, in the dim light of the atrium, the night janitor, Miguel Rogers, knelt on the marble floor arranging upside-down mop buckets in a semicircle. Opposite him were her 7-year-old twins, Jack and Amelia, the cochlear implants they normally wore lying beside their backpacks. Instead, the children's small hands flew with signs, faces alight, as Miguel tapped a broomstick on each bucket like a drum. The twins followed with a syncopated beat of their own, slapping palms against overturned pails, shaking with silent laughter. Miguel mouthed a counter 1, 2, 3, and the trio burst into a wild improvised percussion that filled the air with more joy than sound. Olivia felt her throat tighten. She hadn't seen her children smile like that in weeks. When Miguel noticed her, he stood quickly, wiping his hands on his overalls. "I'm sorry, Miss Crane," he said softly, a faint accent curling the edges of his words. "They asked if they could help me clean the buckets. I thought a broken bar, maybe we could make it fun." Jack signed something with earnest energy. Amelia added her hands in a flurry of explanation. Miguel interpreted with surprising fluency, "They say the buckets sound like thunder drums, and they want you to try." Olivia's instinct was to usher the twins upstairs, scold Miguel for letting them roam after hours. But she hesitated. Jack's cheeks were flushed, Amelia's eyes glowed with that sparkle kids only show when they're wholly alive in a moment. And Miguel, she realized, wasn't mocking or distracting them. He was meeting them exactly where they were, honoring their silence with rhythm instead of pity. A small smile tugged at her lips. "Keep going," she murmured. For 10 more minutes she watched the 3 of them build crescendos and gentle rolls of thunder, laughter spilling in waves even without sound. Something long dormant stirred in her chest, to a reminder of why she had once painted with the twins on rainy Saturdays, why she had promised herself never to let the company swallow her whole. Later, when the building finally hushed again, Miguel carefully stacked the buckets. "They're good kids," he said, glancing up shyly. "They remind me of my little brother back home." He couldn't hear either. Music was still his first language. Olivia lingered, unsure what to say. "Thank you," she whispered, "for giving them this." The next evening she found herself leaving her office early, coaxed by curiosity. Instead of buckets, Miguel had borrowed a few steel mixing bowls from the staff kitchen, arranging them like a drum kit. He taught Jack how to hold 2 wooden spoons for better rhythm. Amelia started marking beats with her feet, grinning with unrestrained pride. Olivia pulled up a chair. "Mama, you try." Jack signed vigorously, lips forming the shape even without his implant. She picked up a spoon and tapped a tentative beat. Miguel nodded encouragement. "Good," he said softly. "Feel the vibration through the table. You don't need to hear the sound to know the music." As the days unfolded, a quiet ritual blossomed. Each night after work, Olivia slipped into the kitchen to find Miguel improvising new instruments. Water glasses filled to different levels, aluminium trays strung like chimes. He asked the twins what they felt in their chests when they struck each object. They responded in a blend of signs and giggles. Olivia listened, heart thawing by degrees. One Friday, Miguel told her, "Tomorrow, there's a community fair on the south side. Deaf kids play rhythms there, big drums, even dance. You should bring them." Olivia hesitated. A public unfamiliar, outside her carefully managed bubble. But something in the twins' eager faces dissolved her reservations. Saturday morning sunlight spilled over the fairground as families gathered, some signing, some speaking, many bridging the two. Miguel introduced them to a circle of children drumming on barrels, feeling the vibration like a heartbeat. Jack and Amelia jumped in without a moment's fear. Olivia watched, astonished by their confidence, by the way strangers instantly welcomed them. As the months passed, this fragile thread wove stronger. Miguel shared stories of his brother in Mexico, of working nights to send money home. Olivia began leaving the office earlier, rediscovering bedtime stories, packing school lunches herself. The kitchen became a second home for rhythms of wooden spoons, pots, gentle stomps on the tile floor. One winter evening, as snow whispered outside, Miguel presented a battered guitar. "I know they can't hear the strings," he said, "but they can feel them." Jack pressed his small hand against the body, eyes widening at the vibration. Amelia traced the chords like magic. That night, Olivia felt something shift. Success was no longer just quarterly reports. It was the warmth of her children leaning against her, the janitor teaching them that silence held its own music. Weeks later, a board crisis erupted, a supply chain collapse, investor panic. Olivia almost cancelled their nightly bucket band. Instead, she chose the kitchen. While her phone buzzed with missed calls, she tapped spoons alongside Miguel and the twins, feeling the pulse steady her breath. By the time she returned to her desk, clarity had replaced panic. She led the company through the storm with measured calm and the realization that she could steer her ship without sacrificing the harbor of home. Spring brought an invitation. The fair organizers asked if Jack and Amelia could join a children's rhythm ensemble. Olivia and Miguel worked quietly with them for weeks, buckets giving way to handmade drums. On the night of the performance, Olivia stood in the wings, heart in her throat as her twins pounded out a rhythm that echoed like distant thunder, faces radiant. Miguel caught her eye, nodding with quiet pride. Afterward, Olivia crouched, arms open. The twins flew into her embrace, their laughter vibrating against her chest. She whispered, "I'm proud of you." "So proud." Miguel lingered by the door, reluctant to intrude. Olivia turned and smiled. "You didn't just teach them music," she said. "You taught me to listen." He shrugged gently. "Sometimes, Miss Crane, the heart hears what the ears cannot."